I'm Steve Kearns, the owner of Keyboard Carriers, Colorado's most recommended piano mover. Been in business 33 years, and we have moved conservatively 85,000 pianos over that time. We're going to show you how a grand piano is moved.
Okay, very good. So give us a rundown of your equipment and how you get started doing a job.
To move a grand piano, you need some basic equipment, the kind of stuff you really can't rent or find at the local rental center, which is why you should hire a professional. A grand board is probably the most when you tell a person who owns a grand piano, if they've never seen it move, they don't even know what this is. But it's designed for moving a grand piano. It gets attached to the piano after it's been tipped over. Need a number of pads. These straps will go through the grand board and around the piano, making the piano and the board cinch together. You need a four-wheel dolly. You can't possibly carry this thing or drag it. It probably weighs 750, 800 pounds.
Okay, and about the what do you need the most just for starting equipment?
Well, your primary tool actually in moving a piano or really doing anything that's beyond what? Digging a ditch maybe? It's your head, your brain, because if your brain's not in what you're doing, bad things can happen. So you have to be, first and foremost, you got to know what you're doing and you got to think about what you're doing, or a disaster can ensue.
So what is the worst disaster you've seen with someone moving a piano? I mean, have you, like a cleanup situation you've had to deal with?
I can recall years ago seeing, driving down the road, I was out moving and I saw an upright piano laying next to a pickup truck on the side of the road. The guys had obviously tried to move it themselves. They had it standing up in a truck and they turned a corner too fast and it simply flipped over because they're top heavy and was now, in 100 pieces, so pretty much ruined. We've never dropped any pianos, but I've seen I've seen video on the internet of guys who have just screwed. All it takes is one split second of not paying attention, not expecting what's going to happen. One of the things I do, and just because I've done this for nearly 30 years, is when I go to a house, when I go to a store, anywhere I go, I just kind of see the whole picture. The piano's over there, okay, we've got to move this. We've got a crack in the sidewalk we got to watch out for. We've got grease in the driveway. We don't want to roll the dolly through. It's just kind of seeing everything before it happens. And when you can do that, you're way more likely to have a successful move than if you just jump right into it and start without really thinking the whole thing through.
What would you say is harder to move, an upright or a grand? I mean, overall.
They both can be hard to move. A grand is more time consuming because you don't just pick it up and put it on a dolly or tip it and put a dolly under it. It takes about 15-20 minutes to do the whole process of patting it and tipping it and wrapping up the legs, so it's more time consuming. Really what makes a move hard is more where you have to get it to, whether it's up a flight of stairs, through a backyard and into a walkout basement. There's just a number of, every situation is different. That's probably why it's hard work, but it's interesting because you never repeat yourself. Everything is different. Every house is different. Every piano is different. Every situation We put them in lofts, we put them in basements.
So it sounds like you're a bit of an improviser. Would you say improvisation enters into this work?
You have to, well, you learn the principles of the whole process and you go from there. If you don't know the bass side from the treble side, you don't know how to tip it over. But yeah, it's kind of, each situation is different. You have to make it up as you go, and you have to know the principles of, gee, we need 2 guys at that end and we need 2 more guys down at this end because it's going to lean like this, or it's going to, you know, stairways, turns, landings, fan steps, curved stairways. It sometimes seems like people want their pianos in the hardest place you can possibly imagine. It's not, gee, let's just roll it 2 steps in the door. Oh no, we want it up in the loft because it looks cool up there. And that's what we're here for.
Right. So